pretty much all the time. I think if he wants to join, he'll jump in. But yeah, we said 9 and it's 529. So let me see if I can. Let me have a look at the. Let me see. I can. How can I give you screen access? Oh, with multiple screens open. It's a different animal here. So
Yeah, I don't remember it in the top of my head, but I think it's somewhere in the share screen. I think it's like a green button.
yeah, yeah, there's a green
It's an
button in the
option.
middle, and sharing. Who can share? I'll go to all participants because I don't. I mean, I haven't. Everybody has the same rights. It's not that you are a host. How many participants can share at the same time? Say only one. Who can share? I think you can share your screen now if you want to. You should have the at least the
Uh,
right.
let's see. Oh, there's more. There's Christian and then there's Al. Who's Al?
I don't know. I'd guess Lily maybe. But everybody's unmuted by default, so you feel free. You have the right to unmute yourself.
All right. So,
Hi guys.
hey Christian.
Hi Mark. Hi
Hey.
Flo.
All right. Well, I'm just waiting a couple more minutes.
All right, no
To,
worries.
how? So Flo, how much Excel experience do you have?
I think Excel is a very, very strange. That's. I don't know how to answer this. Like, how good are you at tennis, right? You find out the minute when you play with someone. So I have business forecast experience, pivots, and or however you pronounce it, and then so stuff like that. But and
Yeah.
I've played a little bit. I've played a little bit with Google Sheets, where pull stock data from Yahoo Finance with the Google Finance stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, on a business level, I'm I'm okay, but
Okay.
using what I need, not much more.
But in regards to like stocks, for instance, do you have much experience with creating Excel, a
N-
spreadsheet on that?
Now, do you mean
Or
pulling data or filtering or?
just anything really? If you have much experience, like you've done it a
No, I've
little bit.
definitely not much experience. I mean, the only thing a year ago or 2 years ago, I started, pulling some data in Google Sheets. Never used Excel for it. So no, I mean, I'm sure some of the stuff that I um, did in the past might transfer to what you are showing, but still, I would say basic fundamentals.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I just wanted to ask. How about you, Christian? How's your Excel?
So cuz like I've done spreadsheets, but I don't know like formulas and stuff. I'm actually really bad at Excel. Like I just know how to like put stuff in. Like I don't know any like math formulas or anything.
Okay,
Cuz you know
no
how
worries.
in college they would teach you this, but I never went. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't learn it in college or high school. I learned it by myself. But okay, that's good to know. Hey, Mac, how are you?
Hey guys,
How's your experience with Excel? You've been doing this for a few years, so
yeah, not good. Get my
I,
girlfriend to do the formulas. I just enter numbers.
I'll mark it closed. What's that?
I get my girlfriend to do the formulas. I just enter numbers.
Oh, that's good. That's convenient.
Lucky. I wish I had somebody to do my formulas for me. I had to learn it the
I
hard
wish
way.
I wish I would know how to do those things, but it's just like another thing to learn, and it's just too much for me.
Yeah, no worries. But I'll today, I'm just gonna go over like the basics. I'm not gonna go over anything too complicated. At the same time, I was kind of looking at it. I'm like, the basics that I'm gonna teach today, isn't exactly basic, you know. So for those who have experience with Excel, you might learn something new. For those who don't know anything, I think it's simple enough that you'll learn. And you, who's recording? Is anyone recording this?
I don't know if are we complete? I hit the record button.
Yeah. Okay. If someone's recording and it's saved, you know, you can rewatch it. And
Yeah,
take a look at
I'm
it.
recording.
Okay. Cool. So it's 4 o'clock, and I don't feel like waiting. Um, so typically, what I'm looking for in an Excel sheet, you know, I'm pretty lazy, to be honest. I don't like doing manual work, uh, especially one that takes hours, and days and months. You know, TopTick does a lot of his manually, and you know that's nuts to me. I just don't have that kind of motivation to uh, do all that. So I try to put as much formula in my Excel as I possibly can, and doing the least amount of work. Like the project I'm doing now is gonna decrease my workload even more, but the one I'm gonna show you today isn't gonna be that. But the things we're gonna look to make today is the watch list, uh, and then the data, and then we're gonna make a pivot table tab. So let me just
Recording in progress.
There
let
you
me
go.
get
So the official recording is on, but yeah, Christian, if you record as well, we have a backup.
where's my notepad go? There it is. Okay, so we'll talk about the watch list first. Everything is going to be connected to one another, so that's why I'm going to have them be together. So let me find my thing real quick. Let me pull that up, and we're going to make your watch list. So for the watch list, you guys already know, you know, the typical things that you want to look for, right? Is the ticker. Actually, you want to date it, right? Then you want the ticker. Then you want what the SL, right? The outstanding, and then you want the float, and then you want the IO percentage, and then the short float percentage, right? That's typically what you guys want to see and collect before you enter a trade, right? In a market open.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty basic. So we'll just keep it that way. I'm gonna make everything middle. So, and then, whoops, what did I do? I'll also try to make everything a table. Having things be a table is just so much easier for your formulas to function and for the layout to be more cleaner. So I'm gonna make this a table. I use a lot of short keys, hotkeys to lessen my work. So if I want to do a table, just hover over something that you wrote already, click Control T, and that's table. You can also skip around like that by doing Control arrow key, and it'll go to the last available not blank cell. So I made a watch list already that we can take a look at, so we don't have to fill that in, right? This is what we're gonna play with today. Okay. All of this, you know, you have to do it manually, right? You can't really, unless you know how to do, what do you call it? The macro thing, where you can extract data from a website. Um,
Are you
You have to do
using
this-
DOS, Mark? Are you using DOS?
nope, I don't use DOS. I just use Sterling and Thinkorswim.
Okay, because
Okay.
DOS allows you to export their
Yeah.
scanner.
Even if you could do that, you want it all put in a watch list, in like a master watch list, not like the watch list, right? Where you have tickers that you add onto it from
Right,
today.
like an ongoing list that you're
Yeah, that-
monitoring.
That grows and
Okay,
grows.
gotcha,
And
yeah.
you'll see why that's important. So that you could do that too if you want to lessen the work and not have to type it. But you know, if you want to do these manually, at least this is I can't find a way to make it automatic right now. At least not with the macros. So let's just to save time. Let's say every morning we fill in all this stuff, and oh my gosh, and it's all filled. Okay. I like to keep my things fairly simple, but I also like to format it because too much numbers that look the same bothers my eyes, and I can't see it clearly. So I'm gonna teach you a couple of number formats that'll make your charts cleaner. Again, it's optional. You don't have to do this, but I like to make my thing clean. So this is a short, this is the outstanding, this is a float, this is obviously in the million. What I like, it's a million. I like to go to the custom, and I made my own number format, and just, you can watch this in the recording later to copy that. And what I'll do is they'll put everything in the second decimal place, and then put the M next to it to represent million, obviously. Another one for me, I like my percentages colored, regardless of whether I'm looking for an average or I'm looking at the IO or SF percentage. So I will give you that one too. You don't have to use a specific color. You can change it to green or whatever if you want. But I like it this way, so I'm gonna keep it this way. Right? And that changes it. That puts it in percentage form and also changes it to blue. If it's negative, it'll turn red. So that's how it is. Pretty simple, right? Something I like to do as well in the morning, just to make my work later on easier, is I like to put the setup and the type that it is. Also, to add something like this, you want to put your arrow right here, so you can click it like that. It'll do that. But if you want to put a new column, you want to double click it, and then you do Control plus. Right? Easy. And this is the setup, and this is the type. You probably saw this in TopTix thing. It's pretty nifty, so you don't have to type it all the time. Let me see if I can remember where it is. But there's a thing you can do to do a drop down. Where was it? I can remember where I put it. Where it is, I mean. Crap. Forgetting where it is. Well, I'll figure it out later. Sorry, guys. I don't want to keep wasting time looking for something. Anyways, this one you have to manually type if you don't put the drop down. You could probably just Google that. It's not really that hard. It's like a 1 minute Google search, and it'll show you where to find the drop down, and then you fill that, and then you could just do something like, this is my actual watch list, right? This, right? Forgot where it is for a second. They don't do it all because it's already set up, and I don't remember where I put it. But anyways, that'll come helpful. That'll come handy later on. One thing that you want to do too to connect, the watch list. You can just name it something else if you want. It's probably a better name. There's probably a better name you guys can come up with. And if you wanna connect the watch list and the data and the pivot tables together, you do need to do something important. I didn't know about this until like last year, so you guys are learning like a really nifty trick here. Okay, so add another column. Okay, and this is gonna be called the trade ID. Also, if you wanna resize this to be automatically fit everything, just double click that to the side. It'll fit all that. Why is that doing that? Okay, so the trade ID, you want the trade ID to be unique for every single ticker that enters your watch list. You don't want repeating tickers. And so to do that, there's this formula called concat, which will add uh, different texts that you want together in one cell. And so to make it unique, just add the date here, which is text one, do a comma, and do ENSV, which is the ticker name, which is in text two, close parentheses, and look, unique trade ID that will never repeat itself unless you do something wrong. So this is gonna come handy. This is really important. So keep that in mind. This is the only thing that's really gonna be in formula. Okay? So that's how you do your watch list every day as you fill it
Yeah.
up. Just increase the thing. Just oh, it's 316 today. And F cell is moving up. And then just blah blah blah. Okay, let's move on. So simple enough. Any questions?
What does that thing exactly do? That trade ID?
Oh, you'll see. It's hard to explain right now, but you'll see
Okay.
once I move on. For now, it doesn't really mean much. Any other questions? Great. Again, you can add more to your watch list, but again, I'm making this basic, so I know I have a lot more in my watch list I add in the morning, so don't feel free to be creative with that. Okay, next thing, let me see. What's the next plan? Next thing is that we're gonna make the raw data list. Now this, I'm not going over strategies, right? This the one where Jay teaches you, oh, put down, 1 minute J lines, 3 minute, 5 minute, right? And if it hits that, put a yes or a one. If it doesn't hit that, put a zero or a no. We're not gonna do that today. This is not what this is about. This is a general Excel gathering list. We're not. I don't know if I explained that, titled that right, but you'll see what I mean. So again, always start with the date. Actually, we want to start with the trade ID, then the date, the ticker, and obviously, one thing that's important is the open, high, the low, and close. Actually, I'm gonna add one more. Which is the previous close. And then the next day two open. Which I just say day two, so I can fit it. Also, if you do Control A, it will highlight everything. But if you're in a specific cell that's not blank, it'll highlight everything that's next to that. Which I want everything to be highlighted so I can make it in the middle. So yeah, that's that. The trade ID, want to do that. Just put an equal sign, and then go to the cell that you want it to copy exactly, and then there's your trade ID. You don't have to do the concat thing anymore. And then let's see. Let's make that a table. Table has headers. And if I'm going too fast, feel free to stop me and ask me questions if you want. But, okay. A lot of this stuff you'll have to enter manually, but I found a way that makes it take some of the work off. It doesn't fill everything, but it fills the basics like the previous close, open, high, low close, and day two.
What's the resource? Do you have one resource that you go to, or you collect it like from, I don't know, Delusion Tracker, Edge to Trade?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have different things, different scanners, Edge to Trade, Dilution Tracker, Flash, all that. That's all done manually in the watch list. But okay, again, you don't have to put this in the same worksheet, but I'm gonna, so you guys can see it side by side. So I'm gonna do the same thing again here. What's one to do that? So like right here. This, by the way, there's different paste, copy and paste options. This only pastes the values. This is formulas and stuff like that. I don't know. Why did I do that? Jeez. Sorry, it's gonna get annoying. But this, all of this is going to be formulas. Why? Stop that. Okay. This is all gonna be formulas. Again, we want to copy the trade ID from the watch list for this. So it's unique. And then we're gonna get started with why the trade ID matters. This is also going to be formulas. Anything I highlight in the header as yellow is going to be formulas. And anything I'm going to highlight in orange is not going to be formulas, but they're going to be copy and pasted. This is all going to be formulas. Okay, so the formula that you want to get, so you don't have to keep writing the date and the ticker every single time, is X lookup, right? Then you want the lookup value to be the trade ID, which is to the left of it, right? Then you want the lookup array to be everything in that trade ID except the header, okay? And because you're looking for date specifically, because that's the column that you were searching for, you highlight for the return array. And what's that essentially saying is, listen, I want something that looks like this trade, that matches this cell here. So I want you to search all of this to find the exact cell, right? Which is this. And then for the return array, I want the specific date that that cell occurred in. And so what cell in this date matches exactly with the trade ID that is set forth? Oh, it's 310. So right now you have to reformat it to date, but that is the date. I like mine like this, right? That's how trade ID is useful. You also do the same here. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Next lookup, trade ID to the left. You want that, and this, and then the date. Okay. And then that's also not formatted. So. That's also, you could do the same thing, right? Do it, trade ID again. And then, instead of doing the date, you're looking for the ticker. Because the trade ID is, whoops, wrong one, I did that wrong. Because the trade ID is unique, it'll only specifically return the one that is associated with that trade ID. ENSV, see? How do you know you're right? Because of this, ENSV, and before we formatted it this way, it was 44630. Get that?
Mm-hmm.
Easy to follow.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing here. So let me do that real quick. Oops. Shoot. Look up date ID. NSV. Oh my gosh, I keep doing this one, then this one. X lookups are a beautiful thing. You can also do V lookups based off, depending on how you format your thing, or depending on how you look up, depending on how you want to search something else. I'm not going to do that today. You can YouTube it or Google it. V lookups are pretty nice too. I know Lily does it. So, moving on, because I'm too lazy to type all of this in, I'll go to the chart, find the previous close price, open high, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do this, right? Previous close, I'm going to do stock. Oh, wait, another thing that's really important before I do that actually is this. I don't know how to get rid of that. I'll figure that out. Oh yeah, make this a table. It has headers. And then add another column here. This is going to be called day. Why? You'll figure it out soon. I want to know what day is associated with this date. And you'll understand why that's important. So to do that, just do text, right? Because you want to change what a number is into a text, which is the date, right? And then you want to format it. There's different ways to format it. You can change text into numbers, numbers into text, based off how you're going to format the text. The one I'm going to give you today is called BBB, and essentially what that will do is this, right? So on the 10th, it was Thursday. Why that will matter, you will see. Let me resize that. There it is. Okay. So annoying. So to find the numbers associated with the headings, you want to do stock history, right? And then it'll give you instructions here as to how to fill it. So you want the stock, which we already have here. So just go to someone's message, something. Okay, well, sorry, I got off track. You want the ticker to be this. Then you want the start date to be this. Okay, but because we're dealing with previous close, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. So we're going to put an if statement, right? Because if we do just that without, actually I'll show you. We're going to put the if statement, and then we're going to go to day, right? The one that we mentioned. And I'm going to put a logical test. The logical test is this. If that cell to the left of it says Monday, then I want the date, I want the close, the previous close to be calculated based off the date 3 days ago, not a day, not today, okay? So date minus 3, and if it's false, right, then that means I want just the previous day, which is the date minus 1, right? So then we're going to do the end date, which we can skip, so just do another comma. Then for the intervals, just put daily, because you're looking for the daily data, and then no header, because we already have a header. And then this will give you the options: date, close, open, high, low, volume, because we're looking for the previous close. Just do close. And voila, load, and it'll give you the thing. Alright, so that one was a little bit more complicated. This one, if you can do that, this will get a little bit easier. Just do stock history again. Stock here, the date, right? You don't need to do an F statement anymore. Skip the end date, 0, 0, because you don't need all that. And then the open, which is 2. And then, because everything is pretty similar and all done in the same day, you just copy and paste. And then if you click the F2 hotkey, it'll let you edit a cell without having to double click it or anything in your mouse. So, because this is a high, I want 3. Oops. F2. Because this is low. That. Because this is close. There's that. Okay. These are all the values done. And then day 2, it's going to be a little bit more similar with the previous close, because obviously, you know, there's a Friday, and you don't want it to calculate the Saturday because the market's not open. So we're going to do that again. Stock history. Stock. Oh wait, whoops. We're going to do the if statement again. We're going to go to day. And day equals, if day equals Friday, you want the words in quotations, by the way, or else it's not gonna be able to tell that you're looking for a word, and so it'll give you an error statement. Then if the day says Friday, then you want the date to be +3. If it's not Friday, then you can do just the date +1, and then close the parentheses because you're done with that. Then the end date, skip it, the interval, that's the daily, no header, and then what was this again? The day 2, so you want the open. And this will give you open price for the next day. Okay? Does that make sense, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get the data, the open, high, and low, and close, all that? Because you didn't really enter anywhere, did you?
Oh yeah, it's all done in Excel. Excel gets the, yeah, this is a stock formula, right? This is the formula from Excel. What this does is it gets data from a different site or something like that, and it puts it in there, puts it in your Excel sheet automatically.
So
it's all
that's
done with.
so that's the actual like Excel formula stock history, and it pulls
Yep.
the history from somewhere.
Yep. I know this was in beta for quite a while, beginning of last year. So I'm pretty sure everybody has it now, but maybe not everyone has it.
And
So
why
if-
isn't why don't you pull the data in the watch list?
Because I don't have. Oh, I will. You'll see. All
Okay.
this stuff, I'm gonna pull it up soon. But in regards to like the open, high, low, close, you know, I don't have that. And yeah. So, yeah. Any more questions? Hi, Mugen.
Just a quick, maybe
Cody.
just a quick general, because Cody, Top Take, and Mugen just joined. Can everybody hear us? Or Mark? Chat or unmute yourself.
Hi there. Hi there.
Hi,
Everybody.
Mugen.
How you doing, guys? You okay?
Good. I'm
Hi,
sorry I
Mugen.
started a little bit too early, but there is a record. There
That's
will be.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, there will be a recording. So if you
Yes.
want to watch what I did in the beginning, essentially, real fast recap. I made a watch list. All of this is done manually that you enter every morning. The trade
Okay.
ID, very important. I'm not sure how much you watched already, but the trade ID connects all of the tables that you'll be creating today with the watch list, because this is like the start of everything.
Okay.
And then I talked about how you could do this. Also, really neat thing, guys. If you do control, again, arrow shift, control shift, it'll, instead of, where control would just help you move around, holding control and holding shift will move you around and also highlight everything that is in between. Okay, so real nifty trick. I like to put borders in my thing, so I like to go to end, highlight that, and then do control 7, or no, 7. Is it control 7? No, sorry, it's Control Shift and 7, and now I'll put a border. See? Yay. Just to make your thing look neat. Okay, cool part about why the trade ID is so important is because of this. Ready? Just drag that. Yay! All of the values are there. We don't need that because we don't have as much. See? Oh, how nice. Now there are sometimes it'll give you values like this, and I don't know why it does that, but like, just delete it. It's okay. Um, but just think about it. All you have to do is manually look at what the prices happen in these two instead of doing all of this. Where if we did this right now, all of this, you and I would be spending an hour just getting through it.
But
this
both
much.
these arrows, both these wrong values were with the same ticker.
Yeah, that means something.
It's just
Sadly.
probably missing data because even like as well like when you look on Edge to Trade, some of the tickets like don't have certain like whatever like burn a month ratio or available cash pay or missing float or something. It's just I think just that, nothing else.
Yeah, and like this Excel formula isn't the best. I'm gonna tell you why in a second too. Why you can't keep this. Okay, you only want this to be a temporary thing, and why you want to put all of the data you found here, you copy and paste it and put it here. This is why we have this orange thing. So let's say I already did it. I already did it ahead of time. Um, so let me just copy the other one. Copy and paste. Let me put that there. Okay. Um. Seriously, that's longer. Also, if you do that, and then you hold control, you can highlight multiple things. Right? See? Ooh. Yay. Okay. Right. So now what you want to do with this is you want to copy and paste it. Actually, hold on. How far does this go? Cell 26. So let's put that in there. Let's drag that. Copy and paste all this. And then you want it to be values. Gonna load. And then you want this all to be dollars. Okay? So, what to do? You're done with that. What to do? And the reason why you can't keep this as nice as it is because I've tried to have this like remain the same. But after a certain time has passed, or you close this and you open it back up, all of this will show error. Why? I don't know. I tried to figure it out, and so you don't want to depend on using this alone and then not copy and pasting it and then close your cell and then open it back up and realize all your hard work is gone, so you have to restart all of this. Okay, so I would encourage to do this. Encourage you to do this. Copy and paste all the formulas again. Um, and obviously, because it's not connected to the cell that we put it in, it's going to show an error. And that's fine, whatever. But to change a formula into just a text, just go to the beginning of the formula at the top and put that. Forgot what it's called, apostrophe. I'm sleeping with that, so I don't remember. So just do that for all of that, so you don't have to redo all that crap again,
It would better to like just before you how to say before you enter all the data, you do all your formulas and everything, and just like a save as a master copy or whatever, and then let's say each month you change it or each week. I don't know I don't know how fast it messes up. But like whenever you start, let's say, a new month, you open your master save file, and you enter data in there, like all your.
Yeah.
You do that each month. So let's say you track it for a month, and then at the end of the month you close it, save it, like let's say you write January or whatever, and then on next month you open your master file and start entering again just the data basically without an extra entering the formula.
Yeah, that's one way. You can be creative with how you want to do it. This is just another way. But yeah, that's a good idea. Also, other issues with this. Um, you can easily do 100 within an hour or two using this formula. But I don't know why. It's been a while. But sometimes some data isn't accurate. Then again, not all programs will show you the same thing. Like if you use TOS and then you compare that with TC3000 or something like that, sometimes you'll find that, oh, the open price for Indo this date is 44.05, but then TC3000 is showing 44.10 or something like that, or 44.06. Same thing. So you'll have to be careful with that. Sometimes some of you might realize that, oh, this isn't exactly the best formula, or you don't want to depend on this for accuracy, and I get that. So you do want to enter this manually, which might be for the best, honestly, if you want the most accurate number. Not to mention that if you go far back enough, obviously you're going to hit stocks that split or did a reverse split, so the price is different. You're not going to get an accurate data on that because it doesn't adjust to those prices. So be careful of that. You can't keep using this for as far back as you want because it's limited in that regards. But if you're doing big caps and they don't do splits or reverse splits as much, I think you can go back a good amount and still be okay. Oh yeah, and by the way, I totally forgot. You can also do this, which is another thing. Let me copy and fix that. I don't use this, but I know people do, and they talk about it on YouTube, then maybe you will do something with this, okay? So I'm just gonna put it out there, but let's see. Where is it? Okay, some data, quick stocks, and I'll change all that. Actually, let's change all these into stocks, just like that. Real nifty thing about this is it will only give you data from today, and it will get the data from Google Finance. So however much you want to trust that, that's for you to decide. You can do market cap, and it will give you the market cap. Actually, sorry, let's change that here so we don't have to change the size on that for a sec. Right? That's the market cap. And you have all of this stuff, the price, and then let's say the volume that it traded. The problem with this, however, is that it's changing. It's always changing. So tomorrow, if you open this Excel sheet again, you'll find that these numbers aren't the same. So, not really good for historical data. But I could see you, putting the volume in for the day. At the end of the day, finding what the overall day volume was, and doing that without having to type it, and then just copy it and just paste the value. What do you do? Less typing. So you can do that. You can do that for all of this. You could just drag this down too. Drag this down and we'll give you the same thing. I guess MGLD is a bit weird. It's not giving you anything even on that. So whatever. So that's another option. If you can find some use for it, go for it. But a lot of that fundamental stuff you should already be doing in the morning, and it should be down here. Okay, cool. So now that we have all these values copied and pasted, right? We have yet to enter anything manually here, which is nice. So we're gonna, because this is like the master spreadsheet or whatever, we're gonna add some stuff here. Which, by the way, we're gonna add all of this. You know, you can copy and paste it, but you know, you can't copy and paste it as you add in the list. Well, you can, but it's a waste of time. So it's better to put it as a formula, so it'll always be automatically added as we add more into the watching. So again, you guys know my favorite formula. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is gonna be a little bit time consuming. Sorry guys. I try to be fast. What was it again? So. Totally forgot. It's going to be the setup. This is, again, all of this is already done in the watch list. So all you have to do again, X lookup. Oops, that's not an X lookup. Load. X lookup. The trade ID. And a lookup array. This thingamajiggy. And then, because you're looking for the setup, just highlight the setup. And then close parentheses. There you go. And because I don't want to keep typing out all that stuff, copy and paste it, click F2, the hotkey to just quickly change it, and then just type it to end that. Right? Easy. It doesn't really take that long. Oh, oops, that's actually not last time. And IO. This change picked up F3 on. Again, for those who missed it, I like to number format my thing and be specific to give it a cleaner look. So I'm going to change the things that are typically a million, and this is the thing. You won't find it, for those who missed it, you won't find it in there. You have to type it in yourself, because I don't know, I created it, or took it from Google, or something from Google. And then the percentages, obviously, this one. Okay? For those, I'm not gonna go too deep into all of the stats that you want to collect, but I will give a little bit. So this is probably the only one that you really have to put manually in. So I'm gonna unhighlight it. Anything that's not highlighted, you know, will mean that you will type it in. And that is the pre-market high, and then the pre-market volume. And I already wrote this all ahead of time. Also, two other things, sorry. Because time is important, time is important. You want to time a lot of these things. I like to also put everything that you have to type in manually next to each other, and then the ones that are all formula next to each other. So I'm looking for the high time here, my bad. which is the high of this, and then the low. Okay, and you have to put all that stuff manually, which I made up a lot of it, all of this, because I didn't want to go through all of the tickers again and just figure out the numbers. So all of this is made up, so don't copy it. And also the number formatting as well. Easy fix. Pre-market high, it's just numbers. That is this. And this is just time. Okay. Reason
Is
being
it the
is
high of day, low of day, or what is that?
so
High and low in time?
yeah, the high time, low time. So the high of day, what time did it
Yeah, okay.
get
Yeah,
up to
yeah.
46? And then, yeah.
Gotcha,
Okay,
thanks.
Like, again, all this is made up, so don't copy it. Why? The reason why I like to go over, like to group them up. Sometimes there's gonna be areas where this is gonna be manual here, and then let's say you have another area here that's gonna be manual. I don't wanna have to manually click one by one, and if everything is like alternating, where this is formula, then this is manual, then this is formula, like I can't do this. Watch. I can't just do that, right? Let's say I have some manual cells here, but it's empty. You know how easy it is if I just everything's already filled and group up. I can just skip there. So just one click, just control right arrow, and it'll lead me to the next blank cell. But if there's formula here, manual, formula here, manual, and the manuals are filled, there's just too much clicking. I'm too lazy for that. So that's how you do it. And then what else am I gonna do? Right. Now we're gonna get to the change percentages, and all that stuff. Okay, this is important. So we're gonna do previous close to open, so you can find the change percentage there. As you add, by the way, the table will expand, so don't worry about that. This is a high percentage, low percentage, close percentage, and then day 2 percentage. And then one of the most important things is green to red. There's a lot you can do with all of this stuff. Like this is from the change percentage is based off the previous close to open. The high and the low in the close is based off the open, how high or how low it went from the open. But again, you can be creative. If you want, you could do high to low. And the reason why you should put all of these numbers in is because if you want to create a new formula that you think of in your head, you could easily just type in that formula, and because you already have the data set in place, there you go, you have that. There's also, to make it a little bit more complicated, I won't be doing it today, you can do if-then statement where you're doing the high to low, like how much did it drop from the high? You might think, okay, that's cool, but what if the low happened before the high? That makes it useless, right? Yeah, you're right. But if you make it conditional, right, which and you base it off time, which we have, right? We can then put like some conditional that if the high time is greater than the low time, then do the change formula. And then vice versa. If it's not, leave it blank. And then you could do the same with low percentage to high. How much did it go from low to high? So we're not going to do that today. I'm not trying to fill up this whole thing as if I'm actually filling in a spreadsheet. So we're just going to do it this way. So you can easily do it this way. The change percentage. Oops, we gotta do parentheses. Right? Previous close minus previous open divided by open. Close parentheses. one more parentheses. You don't actually have to put that parentheses in, but whatever. Right, so that's that. To make it cleaner, because sometimes you won't have the data that you need, and so it'll give you crap like this. It'll load. It'll give you this. It's not clean. So I like my thing clean, and you can do this for all of this. I'm not going to do it for all that, but what you can do is do another. You can do a nested formula, where if you do an if statement, if like the open, if the open is blank, right? So equals comma comma, quote quote, meaning it's blank because there's nothing between those quotes, and then do another quote quote. That means leave it blank, right? So this is what happens. Look at that. It's gone. The formula is still there, but because the open is not there, it's going to stay blank. Keeps your spreadsheet clean. So you can do that for all of this, by the way. Or you can do it for every single cell. That's how you keep it clean. So I'm going to decrease the table again. It's not going to be as much of a problem if you're doing it this way, though, because everything will grow based off the watch list. So, except this stuff. If you don't have, if you're basing some stuff off of this manual stuff and you haven't filled it in, it's going to be a mess. Format list. Okay, so change the number format. This is the same thing that we showed earlier. It's always showing blue, but because they're always positive. But now you have some red showing negative. Yay. Leave that. So, hopefully that doesn't happen to you guys. By the way, this is all formulas. So do that. It's just good practice if you do the if statement. So if you do that, then easy. It's going to be second nature to you after you do it so many times. So, oh yeah, and I'm going to do it that. Number format for all of that here. So, just PEMDAS, right? If the close is not filled, close minus open, open. Yay. And blah, minus open, or minus the close is done. If you want to know what the change is the next step. Then, okay. So easy enough. Look how much we were able to fill in, and it's only 54 minutes since we started. So hopefully you guys don't have to watch the rest. It's almost done. Also, this is a little bit different. We're not gonna do the same thing here. This is really important for your pivot tables. So I'm gonna fill it. This one's the same thing. You're gonna do if, okay? This one, you can also do. You can make it nested, by the way, meaning you can do two ifs. So if leave it blank, leave it blank, then you'll do another if. Now this is the real formula. If this is less than 0%, then that means the end is red. You could do it this way, and then if it is greater than 0%, you can say end is green. So it's a red day or a green day. But for me, I found that Excel functions a lot better in terms of formula if you leave it as numbers. So I like to indicate, oh, 0 means red, 1 means green. And you don't, because it's a number and you want to leave it as a number, you can just type it in without the apostrophes. You can make this a text though, right? By putting the commas, or sorry, the apostrophes. That will tell Excel that, you know, this isn't a number, this is a text. So that's what the quotes are. Okay? It's based on what that is, and that is. And it, you know, your spreadsheet will continue to expand. So you might forget exactly what you did. So you can do a few things. Even though, right? Red equals 0, green equals 1. Okay, you can do that. You can also do a comment. Equals 0. Right? So leave yourself some notes if you think you're gonna forget later on. Right? And then a couple more things, and then we can get to the pivot tables, which is super easy, and then we can call it done. Thank you for being patient with me. By the way, any questions?
No, but you're giving us your time, you know. You're taking the time out of your day for to do this for us, so we really appreciate it, you know.
No worries. But I do want to help you guys. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. I'd be happy to answer. Hold on, Mugen said he had to leave. Uh, yeah, no worries, Mugen. Thank you for coming today.
All right, bye
Hopefully
Mugen.
You can learn. You can take something from this. Okay. Tell your son I said hi. One other thing I like to do, as we move on, is I like to group up the floats. That will come in handy when we do the pivot tables. You can do that for SO. You can do that for a lot of things. Okay. I do categories for a lot of things. Right. This in of itself, the setup and the type are categories. Okay. And that's going to help with the pivot table later on. So I'm going to do a float category. Right. And then I'm going to do, instead of an if statement, I'm going to do ifs. Okay. And then, you know, we've talked about it. A lot of gurus talk about it in general, right? What's considered a micro float? Anything that's less than 1 million. What's considered a small float? Anything between 1 million and 5. That's essentially what you're doing here, okay? So you're gonna highlight the float, which is to the left of it. Then you're gonna do less than. If it's less than 1 million, okay? Or actually less than or equal to 1 million, then I like to do mine in numbers. But you can do this, right? Do quotes, micro float, and end quote, and then move on. But I like to do mine in numbers. Right? So I'm gonna do that again. Anything that's less than 5 is group 2. Oops, I want to go in. And anything that is 10 or below equals 10 or below is group 3. Anything from 20 is group. Actually, let me do that again. 15. Anything that is less than 30 is 4. And then anything that is greater than, right? So you switch it up from 30 million, it's going to be 5. Okay, and you'll see it there. Because it's not millions. I'm just going to change this to general. I could have just done that there too, but whatever. That's going to come handy. Also, another thing you could do if you want, you can do the setup thing again. So I'm gonna do like setup 2, right? Instead of manually putting it like you did in watch list, you could just do this, right? If, right? Remember how Jay talks about, like, okay, if from the pre-market high to open, it only went down 8%. Anything 8% less than 8% or less is a gap in extension. Remember that? Or anything from like, or is it 12? And then anything from 12 to like 17, if it only went down some 12 to 17%, that's pop and fail. Anything greater than -7, anything less than -17% is a gap in crap. Okay, if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
So let's do that. So you can't do that here, and so you'll have two of those things. So just do. Hold on. Oh, whoops! I forgot one more thing. Let me do that. Totally forgot.
Do you make up these numbers, or where is it? Where are these numbers? Where would I find these numbers if I put them in formula?
I made these numbers up, but these are typical. A lot of traders use the same thing. These are the typical kind of formulas that traders like Stephen Ducks and Tim Gutani and all those guys do. Just from looking at
Oh
YouTube.
no, actually, these the change it comes from the data that you pulled from the Excel stock thing history, isn't it?
What do you mean?
The percentages, like let's say change, the high percent, low percent, close, and day two things, they all come from the. What's it?
Yeah, but the formulas are all the same. A lot of traders use the same kind of formulas to find the average of all of them.
I mean, from here.
Yeah, I'm not really inventing anything new, to be honest. Okay, whoops, I don't know what I'm doing. There's no need for the if statement, sorry. So open minus close, previous close divided by. Oops, actually put that in there. It'll automatically put a parentheses at the end if you forget it. By the way, so don't worry if you do. And then that thing I talked about. So that is another ifs statement, right? If, oh my word, I'm dumb. Whoops. If you make a dumb mistake like I did just now, easy fix. Just minus that, and then do the pre-market high, and replace that one as well with the pre-market high. Easy. Easy fix. All the numbers will change. There you go. That's what I want. My bad. So do another if statements. I forgot the numbers Jay tells people. I already have it formulated, so I don't care to remember it. But if it's greater than -8, actually greater than or equals to 12, -12, I mean, and that is, I'm gonna do quotes, gap and extension. And go back to the side again. It is greater than or equal to -17%. That is pop and fail. And then anything that cell, if it's less than anything -17, as gap and crack. Oops. Again, don't forget to put the quotations to indicate that is a word. Wow, that seems off. Oh. Well, that's worrisome. I did something wrong. Oh well, we'll figure it out later. Or you guys can figure it out yourself. It's actually not hard to figure out. But anyways, you have this already. Sorry, I actually made a mistake. So we're gonna move on to the pivot tables. Also, you could do a lot with the pre-market volume too. Like you guys know the float rotation. Just figure out how many times the pre-market volume occurred based off the float, and depending on how much it rotated already, what's the chances of it ending red or green, which you can do on the pivot tables. So there's a lot you can do with just this and all this stuff. So be creative. So we're gonna do pivot tables now, and then after that we can. Oh yeah, any questions so far?
How long it took you to learn all this?
3 years. This is an amalgamation of like 3 years of work. But at the same time, I don't do it like this anymore. I do a more advanced thing with the code, and I'm trying to figure it out as we speak. So I don't necessarily have to use this. All I have to do is extract data from a platform and do some little code magic, and then I'll have thousands of this stuff, these types of information in my hands, and all I have to do is put formulas and, you know, easy money. I can do formulas all day. So I don't necessarily do it this way, but before the code, or if I don't have the code, I do it this way. So yeah. Any more questions? Someone posted something. Small cap. Oh, Karen missed her meeting. Okay, moving on. Pivot tables. These are really nifty. You can do a lot with them as well. All you have to do is do an insert, pivot chart. Hold on, pivot chart. Okay, it'll show a table and range. This is why I asked you guys to do things in tables, right? You can do pivot tables here or here, up to, but the master data is what we want. So just highlight that, okay? And then you want this to be existing worksheet. If you do new worksheet, it's gonna open up a new Excel, and you can do that if you want, but I don't see the point of doing that right now. So it'll load, look at that, it'll have that. So reason why I had you guys do the green and red, and also to categorize the float, is this is one way I like to do it, right? Where I have, you know, the float category here on my axis, and I like to have the green red here, right? So now I have that, and then I want my values to be, oh, what's the average of the high, or something like that, and that's why we have the high percentage. So put the values in the high percentage. This is gonna say sum of high. That's wrong. You want average. So value field setting, change that into here, average. If you can find other stuff, you know, I found that there's some stuff here that's pretty useful, like a standard deviation and all that stuff. So feel free to play around with that. And look at that. What do you do? You found, you know, a way to do that. Hold on. What did I do? Float category. Okay, so on the x-axis, right? Right here is the float categories, right? We have the 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the y-axis, we have, you know, how high it went, right? So 1 here, again, remember, is green, and then blue here means red, that ended red. You can also change this, I'm pretty sure. Can you? Maybe not. Forgot. So you can change the title for some of this. Maybe not. Oh, it's been a while. Also, if you don't want the grand total because it's useless, so go to design, grand totals, off for rows and columns. There you go. And then change the number format as always. I like mine the way I do it, which is that. And then it'll give you the specific things for that. One thing I like to do is find out how many samples fit that criteria, because sometimes, you know, this is the average of all the things that fit that second float category and the ended red, right? But then you would think, oh, that's the average of that. But then there's only one sample. So there's only one sample for that. How much do you want to trust that exactly? So try to do a formula to find the total samples on that. And you can also do this again, the low percentage. So let's do that one more time as well. the insert pivot table. Again, I like that whole thing. Same thing that we did, right? And then just reload percentage. You do the same thing with change percentage, close percentage, day 2 percentage. It's going to show this way because obviously it's going down. Also, you can change the style of this. Right here. Some of them will give you more specific numbers. You can also change the color. Right? So, I'm pretty sure you could change this too, the title here. So, I'm gonna red. So that's red. And this is green. Blah blah blah. Same thing here. Take off the grand totals. Right? You could also just, if you're content with just that, go for it. It's easy click. It's not really that big of a difference really. I just like mine looking pretty. There we go. And then red. You could also change this too. So what was the low float? Anything that was like a micro float. Oh, no, sorry, one was a micro float. This is a small float. And this is a kind of small float. Big float, medium float, blah blah blah. You can change the titles on that. And one more thing I'm gonna do, just because you saw all that stuff, I'm gonna do one more, which is my chart. Hold on. What was I gonna do? You don't have to do this pivot table every single time. If you just want to put in a picture, you can. I'm just not gonna do that. I want to see how much. What happened? Where'd it go? I want to see how much float ended up red versus green. That's the idea. So let's see if that will work. So again, I'm going to do float category, and do red, green, and then I'm going to do, I don't know, ticker. That's the values. And I'm going to change this into pie chart. And then you can be specific, right? And these are the specific categories, how much ended red, blah, blah, blah. And then we can do the slicers, and then after that we can go to question mode, and then we can end it. That is, where's the slicers? Go to insert, slicer. Yeah. Okay, wait, whoops, sorry. Highlight one of these things first, and then do a slicer. And then these are the things that you want. If you want, the date, for instance, right? Or no, sorry. You have to do another category. Actually, so let's just do a setup. Actually, and that the setup, it'll give you a slicer right here. And there's more setup. I have a lot of setups, but you click on it. Anything that's associated with this will change the data to specifically only go over the ones that have the gap, that meet that gap category. Hold on. There's a way to connect this and all of that into this, but I'm forgetting. So, there it is, report connection. There it is. Check all that, and it should change all that. See? Yeah. and then click the X there, and it'll highlight everything, and that's the overall thing. So you can do that with a lot of things. That's why I said to do categories and do as much as you want and as much as you can, because you can do slices like this, and you can be very specific with how you want to look at your setup, right? And then one other thing too, because we have market cycles and all that. Let's say your watch list has 1,000 different tickets in it from dating back from 2 years ago. Just do slicer again. Oh, sorry. Go to insert again. Next to slicer, there's a timeline. Okay, wait, whoops. I need to highlight. My bad. To the date. Right? And then let's report the connections, connect it all there. So let's say you have 1,000 or something like that. And so, it's giving you a general overview of all the stats. But, the market cycles change and things aren't working as well as you used to. Okay, cool. It's November. Oops, it's not November. It's March. It's March now, so you only want the tickers that in that watch list that is March. You can also be pretty specific with it. Look, days. You can go all the way to the end of this year. You think, the cycle started back in February 22nd, 21st. Now you'll have every ticker that, you know, are dated from February 21st on until March 31st. Get that so you can be very specific with your data using slicers, and having the pivot table will give you a very good representation of all that stuff, right? So, yeah, that's it. Any questions?
No questions, but I'll just make a comment because this is actually sick. Imagine all your data that you entered like that. You should have told me all of this like at the beginning of my like mentoring, because
Oh,
I got so actually fed up entering like data at the end of the day that I didn't really have any time to analyze it, to take anything from it. So I
yeah,
would I would end up like just basically adding, time of day, when it's a high of day, low of day at a time, add everything, add floats, everything, from extra trade, and I couldn't tell what's the use of it basically. So I actually like stopped doing that,
yeah, right.
and
And
this just like literally you did it like in about 40 minutes, filled everything, and you extracted all the data basically. And then when Jay used to give like homework, like, oh, do the calculation of the gap and craps or whatever, like, for the whole month. So I would basically sit there, extract all those data, and like manually calculate, like look at gap and craps. So
mm,
write on a different sheet, pick them all out, do like manually, divide, multiply, whatever, like to get percentages, and
yeah,
take me like 3-4 hours basically to get it all done. And this is like just what, click one pivot table, that there you go.
exactly, exactly.
This,
So
this actually makes so much sense.
yeah, and Excel is very uh, flexible that way. I'm pretty sure Google Sheets can do that too, but I'm
They,
I'm,
they,
I'm here to
they probably should, because it's as well. It's like based on the same formulas. To be honest, I mean,
yeah,
they're basically running up. I'm sure they're running the same formulas.
yeah. This is Toptic's words, not me, but I agree with them. Excel is superior than Google Sheets. So I would say stick with Excel if you have the money to do so. But just remember the most important things is like obviously the categorizing, the trade ID. You can probably do away with this if you don't trust it. The watch list, you should be filling that up every morning anyways. And then the pivot table, you know. So yeah, I used to do it the way you did it. Like there's just so much crap I had to put in manually, you know, and it got so demotivating. I've shown you before, months before. So I have spreadsheets where I had samples like 500, 600 of that, and majority of that was done manually. The the amount of stress my fingers went through, like my fingers, there were days where it would keep twitching when I'm not even doing anything with it because of how much typing I had to do.
Yeah, it's as you said, like very demotivating basically.
Yeah,
As well, when you've got like limited time, let's say, so let's say market close, for me it's like 9 p.m. So I used to basically sit there for, do your market chat stuff, whatever, send it to Jay, and then I spend another, 2 hours or whatever, like entering, just basically entering data without getting any results from it.
Mhm.
And then you just all too tired, and there's no time to, do the review, like, tickets in play today, like, print, screenshot the charts, mark them up, there was no time for that basically. So like waste like tons of time with no results basically.
Right, exactly. And I don't want to lie to you guys. This is how I do it majority of this time, but I don't exactly do it this way anymore. Even like I said earlier, all this manual stuff, I don't necessarily do those things anymore. Why? Because I extract data from platforms I use, and so it kind of looks like something like this, right? Where you see all this. This is the next level, where you have watch. These tabs go into specific data, and from 401, from 4 p.m., right? I have minutes by minute data going over all of this stuff, so I don't have to write any of this. All I have to do, right, is create formulas like this, right? Watch, look at the thing here, right? All formulas. I don't type anything manually anymore. I manually type in the formula, sure, but that takes me not that much because I already know how to do the formulas, right? And then as I add to the list, all of this just automatically gets updated. And look, I have a bunch of it. And then obviously with the pivot tables I showed you, I just showed you the basics of it, but you can do a lot with the pivot tables. I know Lily does a lot of Power BI, which is the more superior version of Excel's pivot tables. And you can take a lot of the data you have here and make it even more so. This is the next level. Um, but you have to know how to code a little. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now. That's the project I'm working on. But, for those who aren't in that level yet, but you don't want to waste time, as much time as I did before, do it the way I did. And also add your own mix. As you grow, you'll find ways to be lazy in the smart way that I haven't thought of before. So, please feel free to share.
And actually figure out what you want to extract, what you want to find out, because you've got enough data points to sort of play around with them.
Exactly. And if you ever think of a new formula that you don't have, just because you have the manual stuff already set in place, just put in the formula that you're thinking of, and you have all of that data for hundreds to thousands of tickers if you have it already done in 2 seconds, or however fast your computer is. So you know, that's how Excel works. That's kind of how I do it. You don't have to do it the way I did it. There's certainly a lot of better people than I am who can do it. But a top tick is a great one.
I think what's that, Trade Zoo or something on Twitter does, I think, a lot of data things as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You trades are all day
Yeah.
traders, Zoo. I think Zoo, whatever, Trade Zoo, whatever. I think they get a lot of their data from that one website, Spike or whatever. It kind of gives you all the manual data too. I've used it. I've paid for it. I find it. I didn't find it accurate. However, all day traders disagrees. So, you know, my word versus a successful trader's words. Take that.
Um,
Take that.
you're gonna have discrepancies. It's enough when you check on the floats and whatever, you go between different websites, you got different data, so there's gonna be discrepancies. But when you work with like thousands and thousands of tickets, you're still gonna get accurate enough results for what you're gonna get, for what you want to extract. Like let's say gap and perhaps or whatever, like how many paid it. It's still gonna be accurate enough ballpark, to give you an edge.
Yeah, essentially. Short Bear, Tim Grittani, they found their edge because they tracked all of this crap on Excel. They might not be as formulaic as I am, maybe. I don't really know, actually. I don't want to say anything. But, you know, doing your stats, doing your spreadsheet is important. And if you can do it in a way that doesn't give you carpal tunnel in that, do it. Right? So that's the end of the meeting. I know this is kind of the basics, but it's also not really the basics. So hopefully I gave you guys something new to think about if you are good at Excel already. But I just asked. Yep.
Super helpful for me, Mark, because I'm not at all versed in Excel, so the basics are like really helpful. So I super appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, same here, Mark. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it a lot. I'll end the recording now. I mean, whoever wants to stick around, and if Mark has a few more minutes, we can talk. This will all be uploaded to a private YouTube thing, and I'll share the link as soon as it's uploaded, probably tomorrow. Thank you, Mark.
Recording stopped.
That was really impressive. And I mean, even though I have one question that's not related to necessarily Excel, but like you said or explained how you evolved from what you showed us or what you created for us here, and then what you shared briefly with how your current setup looks like. How did you is the learning just did you just go deeper on the stats and the numbers, or did you go wider because you said like, oh, I need to track A, B, and C more, and I didn't pay attention to that? Because I don't know how do you stay on top of that, and what's the routine? How often do you go over your stats?
Oh, I mean, you should do it every day. It's good practice too, right? To keep ahead of the markets. I'm not, again, I'm really lazy, so I want to do as less work as I possibly can. That's why I do a lot of formulas, and I put in the work to learn these formulas, right? A lot of the things I can credit to in regards to help, is from Reddit, the Reddit Excel community. Chef's Kiss. They're really helpful. They answer everything, even if you are like a nobody, right? There's one guy that's bound to answer you who's better than you. So if you're gonna do new formulas, I didn't show you everything that I typically do. I showed you a little bit, but not all of the formulas that I do. It can get pretty complicated. So if you have a formula in your head and you ask me and I don't know, go to Excel. There's also, obviously, there's me. So you can ask me if you have an idea, and I can be like, maybe I know, or maybe I don't. So use traders around you who can help you. I know for me, the trade ID and some of the other stuff, that wasn't actually my idea. That was someone else. He's super smart. But I stole that from him, made it my own, and that's how it is. So you just have to spend a lot of time doing it. I've personally put thousands, like at least 2,000 samples in all of my spreadsheets combined. And there's a lot of times where I put in columns with formulas that were totally useless in that. Like, there's Nick Jay talks about it. A lot of other traders talk about it. But being simple is best sometimes. And if you have too much in your Excel, why are you wasting time, right? But again, at the same time, if you can put it in formula, it doesn't take that much time at all. So why not put as much information in it? And then for the pivot tables, figure out if there is some kind of edge on that. But if you're doing a lot of these things manually, and it's taking up more and more of your time, where at one point just doing one ticker took me 20 minutes to 30 minutes to finish, typing manually, all of that with some formulas. If it's taking you that long, maybe you should reconsider simplifying it or putting more formulas in it, because you're just gonna waste more time doing crap that will benefit you little compared to if you just were watching tape or reviewing chart analysis and all that. So you gotta be smart with your time, and I chose to be smart with my time with using formulas, right? So, but that came with a lot of trial and error. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. That's pretty impressive. And as Max Zilla said, I mean, I'm happy to be at the beginning, so I haven't wasted hours into the let's say, wrong direction, knowing what a right direction might look like. So thanks a lot.
I don't even know if I'm in the right direction, but I'm certainly in a better direction than I was 2 years ago. So, yeah, I'm glad to help. Any more questions? Other than that, we can end it.
Not really. I think it's just gonna have to be rewatched and spend like 2 days just actually entering all the formulas to use it myself.
Yeah, doing it yourself is better. I was thinking of giving you guys some like empty, was it Excel sheet with the formulas already, but I don't want to do that because I feel like you guys could learn better if you put it yourself. So sorry.
It's just
Um,
playing with the software you use, so you get the feel for it, and then as you said, basically you evolve yourself. You start adding things, you start playing with it, and you notice what errors you made while entering data or whatever, or entering the formula, and then it becomes more clear.
exactly.
Rather than you try to add something and then, oh man, I don't even have an idea where to start, sort of thing.
Yeah, and a lot of these formulas are repetitive, right? Like the change percentages from all of this. You do that enough times, you're gonna remember how to do it. And also with the trade ID formula. So, you know, that's how it is. So keep working at it.
I just want to make like a completely off-topic comment because you mentioned like a couple of times like all the coding and everything, and I was listening podcasts on what is called a chat with traders, I believe,
Yeah.
and there's a guy I can't remember the episode, something 200 maybe 504 I think it was, like with John Robertson.
Mhm.
He's he's like does a lot of coding for his trading, and I thought you may have something, some value out of it. So I would suggest for you to sort of like listen to it.
Yeah, can you write it down? Right now, I'm still figuring out the coding stuff with TopTick, Joel, and I'm meeting up with Chris Ari tomorrow to talk about Python and how to do that. And I'll show you a little bit of like what I'm doing. This is the code I've been playing with, blah blah blah. Yay! And this is the data that I want to extract.
Damn,
Um,
dude.
and then this is the other thing, the PowerShell. I've been playing with that. All these red means it's wrong. So you can tell that I've been making a lot of mistakes. But I've been at it since yesterday night. Um, Also, this is like this is the data that I'm trying to extract from. So here, I'll show you. So all this stuff, all these numbers, I'm trying to extract all that so I can put in Excel, and it has minute by minute data of the high, low, close, open, blah blah blah. And so, that's the next level. So if you guys,
That's wild. Is that Toss that does that? That has all
Yeah.
that data in it?
Toss can do it, TradingView can do it, TraderView can do it. It sucks though. Just tried it yesterday with TopTick. I hate it.
Better on Toss.
TC3000 can do it, but you have to be on it daily because you can't do historical data with that.
Right.
And
That's
then
crazy.
TradeStation, TradeStation is very code friendly. So if you know how to code, do it
So-
up.
Mark, I'm sorry. I was, I, I was not here, but I was, on this one, but I really doing something else. Can you show me the PowerShell page?
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah,
Maybe
Lily's trying to.
I can do that, do something tonight.
Yeah, Lily's actually helping me with this too. I forgot to credit her. This is the PowerShell. So
This is this is not the PowerShell. This
Yeah,
is
this- this is Windows PowerShell. See?
No, I didn't see this is the Windows PowerShell. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your problem right now? What was the error?
Bro,
Is
it's too much to go into it. That we're in the middle of a meeting with everyone, and I'll happily tell you later. Top tick. I have not figured out the toss thing yet. However, I'm meeting with Chris Ari tomorrow, and he gave me the thing for Python, and he literally figured it out in like 2 seconds, bro. So he gave me the code for that, and we're gonna meet
So
up tomorrow.
do we need a Python to do that?
Well,
we
we're gonna-
need
we're gonna talk
Huh?
to Chris Ari about the Python thing. But hey, if you want, Top Tick, if you wanna meet me with Chris Ari tomorrow, it's gonna be on his time. Actually, it might be after 4 because he has wife and kids, and he has training in the morning. But if you're free, let's meet up with Chris Ari and talk about code. Right? Sorry if this like kind of went in tangent, guys. But this hopefully.
So the red part is from you coding or from the script that you got?
That's from the script that was playing around with. Those
So
errors are because I
second
saw.
script, the second script never worked.
It does work.
Right?
You just you have to personalize it.
Oh.
That's
okay.
where I was like doing it. I'm not a coder, guys. I know. Well, I know how to code.
But
I know how to make tic-tac-toe on Python.
It should be very complicated. I have some knowledge about coding. Maybe let me see. Yeah.
But yeah, so this I don't know if you guys are like interested in any of that stuff. So if you want to leave, that's fine too. I don't want to keep waiting, making you guys wait. That's really it. So that's like the level that you should all strive for after a few months or a year or two of doing it the way I showed you.
Yeah.
I shaved a few months at least for you guys, hopefully. So maybe you guys will get to this level a lot faster than I ever did. So, you know, don't be afraid to reach out, and we can end it here. Sorry, Lily, I'm gonna eat, but we can talk about it more through group chat later if you want. Or
Okay. So I just installed PowerShell. I try to,
it should already be
run
installed if you have Windows.
run the script. We got, but I have no idea about that. Right now.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Sorry about that, Karen. I might have confused you, but there is a recording. I swear, a lot of the stuff in the beginning is easy to digest. So don't worry about this stuff. This is my thing.
Right.
Cool. I will check that out, Mac. If you have more, please send it. I'll pin it and I'll watch it myself. But other than that, Floor, let's end it here so I can eat and work on the code.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Go to sleep, bro.
Oh yeah, I have not taken a nap. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep.
You have been
Put down that Red
working
Bull.
working on the course script.
Yeah, and I'll probably continue working because I'm hungry and I'm not actually sleeping anymore. So maybe I'll sleep early today though.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, see ya, guys.
Thanks for this, bud.
Bye bye. Thank you.
All right. Good
All right,
night,
thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Bye bye. Thank you,
Bye,
Mark.
guys.